This is a good question which many people would not be able to solve in an exam. So if we read the question, we have a group of 10 students. The mean of the lowest 9 scores is 42. Mean of the highest 9 scores is 47. And the entire group of 10 students, we have to find the maximum possible mean minus the minimum possible mean for them. Now, the bad way of solving this question or thinking about this question is that if we list down all the 10 values individually and then start exploring the possibilities in which one we get the maximum possible sum, maximum possible mean, which one we get the minimum. All of that will be too tedious, of course, because we'll have to look at possibilities for 10 different values. And that is, of course, not even required. Because see, in the first situation, we have the lowest 9 scores, only one score is not included here, which will be the highest one, of course, because these are 9 lowest ones. So only one score is missing here or not included. And in the other case, we have the highest 9 scores. So again, one value is missing, which must be the lowest score. So let's just focus on the missing values or the values which are not included. And let us start exploring possibilities for them. What will be the minimum? What will be the maximum? Now, if you look at the first situation, lowest 9 scores, mean is 42. So their sum will be 9 into 42, number of values into their average. And now the 10th score, the highest one, let's take that to be x. So if we add that also, we will get the sum of all the 10 values. And similarly, in the next case, 9 scores, 47. So their sum will be 9 into 47. And these are the 9 highest. So the only one missing here is the lowest one. Let's take that to be y. So if we include y also here, we will get the sum of all the 10 values. So these will be equal because both left-hand side, right-hand side have the sum of all the 10 values. And here we'll get an relationship between x and y. So we'll get that x minus y is equal to 9 into 47 minus 9 into 42. So 9 into 47 minus 42, which is 9 into 5, which is 45. So x and y, the difference is 45, where of course, remember that x is the higher value, y is the lower value. Now there are two ways in which we can proceed. One way is if we focus on the minimum or maximum possible of x. And another way is in which we focus on the minimum and maximum possible of y. Either one will work. Why? Because if you look at this case, the sum of these 9 people are fixed, which means we won't get any difference when we are looking at the average, for these 9 people, we will not get any difference whether we look at maximum possible value of x or minimum possible value of x. Okay, these 9 people will remain fixed. So just looking at difference of maximum and minimum possible of x, the average of that for the 10 people, that itself will be enough. So just x is enough. Or even in this situation, these 9 people, the sum is fixed. So we will not get any difference for them when we look at minimum and maximum possible values of y. So just looking at minimum maximum of y also will be enough. So I'll show you both ways. If we first look at x, what could be the minimum possible value of x and what could be the maximum possible value of x? Now minimum possible value of x is easy because if you look at this, the mean of the 9 highest scores is 47. And of course, x is the highest score. So we can think that minimum value of x is 47 itself. See, understand that x cannot be less than 47. Because if the highest score is less than 47, for example, if x is 46, then all the other scores cannot be more than 46. If the highest is 46, now of course, how can any other value be more than 46? So how will we get the mean of the 9 highest scores to be 47? Okay, so here the minimum value of x will be 47, which will basically happen when all the 9 highest scores, all of them are 47. In which case x will also be 47 and that is the smallest value that it can take. Now what about the maximum value of x? That we are not getting from this. So let's look at the other data given, which is that the mean of the lowest possible is 42. So here let's think that, okay, this is related to y. Okay, or we can now relate it to y because the other data we related it with x. So using this, we can say that 42 is the maximum possible value of y. Because see, if the lowest 9 scores, the mean is 42. That means y cannot be more than 42. Y is the lowest one. If I make y more than 42, if I make y 43, for example, then all these other lowest scores will have to be at least 43. Y is the lowest. So if I make y 43, the others cannot be less than 43. So then how will we get the mean of 42? Okay, so from here we can say that the maximum value of y is 42, and that will happen when all these 9 lowest scores are 42. To give you a visual representation, if you find this confusing, basically all of these 9 lowest scores, see, last one is x, but all these 9 lowest scores, if we make all of them 42, then what will happen is we are satisfying that condition. Okay, mean of the lowest 9 scores is 42. And here we are getting that y is 42, which is the maximum it can be. If we take the maximum value of y, then we'll get the maximum value of x in this case. That x will be y plus 45. So 42 plus 45. So that will come out to be 87. And now therefore we can see that if you're looking at average of all the 10 students, which means this entire sum divided by 10, and we are looking at maximum minimum difference. Now see, when x is 47, we will get this entire thing, 9 into 42 plus 47 divided by 10. And here 9 into 42 plus 87 divided by 10. See, in both cases, we will get 9 into 42 by 10 as a part of the overall. So that difference will just be 0. So the only difference we'll get here is with respect to x. Okay, so in one case, we will get 87 by 10 because we are looking at average of all the 10 students. One case 47 by 10. So the difference here which we have is 40 and then divided by 10. So we'll get the answer to be 4, which will be the correct answer, option 3. But now let's also look at it from y's perspective. Let's also see how we could have solved using minimum value of y and maximum value of y. Now, minimum value of y, in fact, maximum value of y we have already seen, 42 in this case. Okay, using this situation, maximum that the lowest score can be is 42 when all these 9 lowest scores are 42. We already have that. Now, what about the minimum? Now, using this, we have got the maximum of y. So, using the other situation, we will get the minimum of y, which we'll come to here. And of course, here we get the minimum of x. As we have seen, here we'll get that minimum value of x is 47. Again, I'll show this visually. Now see, here, okay, let's say the minimum here is y. And these are the highest 9 scores. So mean of the highest 9 is 47. Which means when I take x to be minimum 47, I can take all the others to be 47 also. I cannot take x to be less than 47. Again, because if I take 46, for example, then all of these, they will be maximum 46. They cannot be more than 46 if the highest value here is 46. And then therefore the mean here will be maximum 46, not 47. So the minimum I can take for x is 47, in which case all these highest 9 values will be 47. Now, if x is minimum 47, then using this, we will get the minimum value of y. Okay, x and y difference is 45. So y will be 45 less than 47. 47 minus 45, that will come out to be 2 as the minimum value of y. And therefore now again same thing, the difference of 40. And we are looking at average of 10 students. So 40 by 10, that also will give us 4. So answer will be finally option 3. You could have looked at either situation, whichever one you are more comfortable with. But this is definitely the kind of question that many people would not be able to solve in the exam, or they would take too much time to solve. So now get some more practice with a similar question, which is this replica question, and let us know your answer in the comment section.